Welcome to my channel. So today we are going to start the topic the realization of discrete time system. Okay, or the block diagram representation of the discrete time system. So already this topic, the realization topic or the block diagram representation topic we discussed in the third unit. Okay, so that topic is for the continuous time system. Okay, so similar to the continuous time system, so here we are going to we are going to draw the block diagram, okay, block diagram representation of the discrete time system. Okay, so in that, in this video, so we will discuss about what are all the components and what are the what are the different types of realization is available. We have to see. So in the next video, we are going to solve the problem related with this block diagram representation. Okay, so and you recall that, so what are all the elements used in the representation of continuous time system? So in the third unit, the same topic we discussed. Okay. So what are all the elements in order to that is needed in order to draw the block diagram representation of the continuous time system? The first element is a adder. Okay. So similar to that continuous time system, in discrete time system also we have to use adder. So the adder, the symbol for the adder is just we have to draw one circle. Within that circle, we have to put one plus symbol, means this is said to be the adder. Okay. So adder or summing junction we may call, or summer or subtractor we may call. Okay. So the adder means, so we have to give at least, for adder we have to give at least two input we have to give. So here this is a discrete. That's why the input is represented by x1 of n, and one more input is x2 of n. So what is the output? So the adder is having input is multiple input, but the output is the only one output. So adder is a multiple input, one output device. Okay. So we have to represent, the output is represented by, we have to draw one line and outward arrow we have to make. This is that to be the output. So the output of this adder is nothing but, we have to write x1 of n plus x2 of n. Okay. So similarly, the same adder we are using in the continuous time system also. So in that, the same symbol only. So instead of x1 of n, x2 of n, we have to give the input x1 of t and x2 of t. Okay. So the output y of t is nothing but x1 of t plus x2 of t. That is the difference. Okay. The symbol remains all same. Here discrete input we have to give. In that continuous time system, continuous signal we have to give. Okay. So this is the first element. Okay. The very basic element used in the representation of discrete time system is the first element is the adder, and the next element is a scalar multiplier. So this is also same, okay, same as that of the continuous time system. Okay, scalar multiplier or simply multiplier. Okay, so in that we have to draw one line, with in that line we have to put one arrow. Sometime arrow is mentioning, so above arrow we have to write the gain value, gain or scalar value. So if you are writing the scalar value means, so in the input signal we are given as a x of n, means this input signal x of n is multiplied with this constant value a. So the output of this scalar multiplier, if you are measuring the signal in this point, means we will get the answer is that the a multiplied with the input x of n. So this element is called as a scalar multiplier. Okay. So this scalar multiplier, instead of the single arrow, so we may write this arrow is replaced by one small triangle. Okay. So the triangle we have to draw above this triangle. If you are writing the value a, means this is also a scalar multiplier. Okay. We may use this symbol or this symbol. Okay. Simply arrow, above arrow we have to compulsory write the gain value. Okay. Gain or scalar value. Or instead of this arrow mark, we have to put small triangle, and above the triangle we have to write the gain value. So this is the second component, the second basic building blocks used to represent the discrete system. So this element is also similar to the continuous system. Okay. Then in the continuous time system, instead of these two elements, so additionally we may use the differentiator and the integrator. Okay. So the differentiator component and integrator component we are using. Okay, integrator means it is a 1 divided by s component. Differentiator means s component we are using. But here in discrete time system, instead of that integrator differentiator, we are going to use the one more component. It is said to be the unit delay element. Okay, so this component is different from the continuous time system. Okay, in the continuous time system, we are using the integrator element. It is nothing but a 1 by s. Okay, so similar to 1 by s, in this discrete time system representation, the unit delay element, it is called as z inverse. So what is z inverse? The z inverse can be written as 1 by z. So similar to 1 by s, here we have to use 1 by z. Okay, so why z means, so the discrete time, already you know, the discrete time systems are analyzed using Z transform. Okay, in the continuous time system, the continuous time systems are analyzed using the Laplace domain. So that's why we may use the integrator, the transfer function of integrator is 1 by s. Similarly, the delay element, delay element used in this discrete time system, it is represented by Z inverse or 1 by Z. Okay, this is the thing. And the Z inverse, so if you are giving the input x of n means in time domain, that is delay. What is mean by, what is the name of this element? Unit delay element. So unit delay element means this element is producing 1 second delay for the time domain signal. So if the input is x of n means the output of this delayed element is x of n minus 1. So this x of n signal is delayed by 1 second. Okay, this is the thing. If instead of the time domain representation, we are representing the signal in Z domain means, so x of n means what is the corresponding Z domain representation? Capital X of Z. So if you are applying in Z domain means, what is the output of this unit delay element? This Z inverse multiplied with X of Z. So what is the inverse Z transform of X of Z multiplied with Z inverse? According to the time shifting property, the answer is x of n minus 1. Okay, so that's why this is the time domain representation. This is the corresponding Z domain representation. Okay, so anyway, this delay element is producing one second delay for the time domain signal. So the corresponding Z domain representation is the signal x of Z multiplied with Z power minus 1. Okay, so these are all the three important blocks used to represent the discrete time system. Okay, so what is the first element? So this is also one of the 2-mark question. So what are all the basic blocks used to represent the discrete time system? It's one of the 2-mark question. So what is the first element? The first element is the adder. Okay, adder. So the adder is mentioned by one circle. Within that circle, we have to draw one plus symbol. Okay. So this adder is having multiple inputs but only one output. Okay. So the adder, at least adder needs 2 inputs. Okay. Then the second element is a scalar multiplier or gain block. This scalar multiplier is otherwise called as a gain block. Okay. So simply we have to draw one line. In that line, we have to draw one arrow. Above arrow, if you are writing the gain value means this is said to be this is the symbol for the scalar multiplier. Okay. So if the given input is x of n means the output is represented by this constant a into x of n. Okay. The scalar multiplier is otherwise represented by small triangle. Then the third element is a unit delay element. So the unit delay element is represented by one square, one box. We have to write within that box. We have to write Z inverse. These are all the 3 elements used to represent the discrete time system. Okay, and so what are the different types of realization of discrete time system means? So this is also one of the 2-mark question. So the same thing, this topic is similar to the continuous time system only. So what are the different realization of the continuous time system? Direct form 1 realization, direct form 2 realization, cascade form realization and parallel form realization. Okay, so the direct form 1, direct form 2, cascade and parallel. So for this cascade and parallel form realization, this direct form 2 is a base. Okay, so that's why we have to study the direct form 2 in a clear method. So using the direct form 2 only, we are going to realize in cascade form and parallel form. Okay, so these are all the 4 different types of realization of the discrete time systems. Okay, so in the next video, So how to realize the given discrete time system in direct form 1, direct form 2, cascade form, parallel form, and a corresponding problem we have to solve in the next videos. Okay, so thanks for watching my channel, and please subscribe my channel for more videos and share this video to your friends also. Keep watching. Thank you.